have some people here. What's up? Can you guys see and hear me? From Spain, what's up? I think I remember your username. xvale4. So how are you guys doing in Spain? Are restrictions lifting? It's a bit better here in Stockholm. By the way, I'm playing in the key of A minor or C major if you guys want to join. Alex, what's on? From Moldova. Awesome to see you, man. Thank you, Ghost. So this is an RG652AHM, and I should probably put the plastic back there, but I'm fiddling a bit with neck relief, so that's why it's not there. By the way, I've changed the pickup, so it's not the standard DiMaggio pickups that come with this guitar. This is bare knuckle Stormy Monday, so it's a really low output pickup. Not what you'd expect from the looks of them or from the looks of the guitar, but it's one of their lowest output, and that's why I like this guitar, even for this kind of clean stuff. It works well for dynamic and clean stuff. I just love dynamic pickups that react to my picking. That kind of thing, you know. In the beginning I always thought that was like a subtle stuff. I didn't have to care about that. But then I realized that it's kind of important what comes out of the guitar. That's like the building blocks for your tone. So if it's already super compressed from the guitar, there's no chance you can recover those dynamics. They are lost forever. So that's why I much prefer starting with dynamic sound, and then I can sort of, if I want to, I can compress the sound later on, right? I can put on some distortion or just a compressor pedal. That's fine. But I can't do it the other way around. There's no pedal that's going to restore those dynamics, which I've killed through my high output pickups. I hope you guys can hear my speaking here. I'm just going to way around. Yeah, it seems you can hear my speaking. Okay. So I get some questions about, voicings and stuff like that, especially when I seem to do, this kind of stuff. So I think people think that I play a lot of advanced jazz voicings and stuff like that, which I don't. I suck at advanced jazz voicings and stuff like that. So what I do is I rely on like one scale. This time around, it's like the A minor scale. And I try to find a shape that works for me. So any way you can sort of finger a bunch of notes, you don't have to know what they're called. It doesn't really matter. It does help if you stick to a key, at least in the beginning. So I have this key, and yeah, what can I do? Well, like in the pentatonic scale, you would have. So if I grab some of those notes, like kind of suspended sounding chord, that's nice. And if I can just throw in a bass note, okay, so yeah, I'll replace that finger with the pinky and go like, yeah, fine, I have a voicing, right? And that voicing on its own might not be that useful. But then you can try moving it around, still within that key of A minor. Okay, it becomes interesting. In order to do that, I might have to move a finger here and there to make it fit into the scale, to make it diatonic, which is a fancy word for that. But it's a good starting point. Now, when you know a few of those, you could start combining them, right? And then it sounds like you're doing something super advanced, but you're just thinking in terms of shapes and not in terms of theory or anything like that. So a follow-up question might be, how do you know when it's going to sound good? Well, I don't. It doesn't sound good in the beginning. So you move stuff around and then you find something to work that works. And then naturally you're going to gravitate towards playing that a lot, right? So if I find that, I might have that as a starting point when I jam because, yeah, that's the only thing that sounds good, right? So I'll do that a bunch of times. And then maybe I'll get bored because I'm playing the same thing over and over. And then I'll try moving things around. And I'm saying this because I think a lot of people are afraid of experimenting. And they're like, okay, I'm going to try jamming. And then, oh no, it sounds like crap. I'll stop jamming. But the thing is that it sounds like crap for everybody in the beginning. And the ones that eventually end up sounding good, they are the ones that didn't stop when it sounded like crap, right? So I think this is like a key thing to understand, that you got to sort of accept that, especially in the beginning, it does sound like crap. That's how it's supposed to be. So if it doesn't sound like crap, you might be doing something wrong. I'm just kidding, but you get the picture there. So what matters in the end is not how it sounds, because everybody sounds better as they practice and play. It's whether you're having fun when you're playing. Because if you are having fun when playing, then you're going to do it more and more. You're going to be thinking about how did that sound, and can I improve that, and maybe if I change one note here and there. And that's how you work your way towards sounding better. It's a kind of very like small step-by-step process, and it starts with having fun with the instrument. That's the basic truth of it. Can you do Killer Queen? I don't know what that is. Sorry, I don't even know the artist. It's probably not this though, I can be sure about that. Can any of you identify with what I'm saying now? Have you ever sat down and told yourself, yeah, I'm going to jam, I'm going to do this and that, and then, oh, it sounds like crap, I'll stop. If that has happened to you, then what I'm saying now definitely is relevant for you. You should try it again, and instead of kind of evaluating how does it sound, how would I sound compared to a pro, those thoughts are worthless. They won't take you anywhere. So what you got to do is analyze, was this fun, Did I like this? And maybe, no, I didn't like this. Well, then play something else, right? If you're thinking, well, it was fun, but I think I sound like crap, then keep doing it, Sometimes you might be thinking, oh, it wasn't fun. And why wasn't it fun? Well, the guitar was out of tune, It could be a practical reason as well. So the reason, again, I'm saying all of this is because I know that this is one of the main reasons that people just stop playing, right? Or they get discouraged quickly. And if you couple this with maybe some like bad instructions, like someone tells you, yeah, you got to do this is important, do this all day long. Some people are going to love it, but most people are going to hate that, right? So that's another example of why playing stuff that is not fun to you kind of sucks for your development. And this applies to everything in life. So I think that in 20 or 30 years, hopefully, our entire school systems are going to be totally reshaped, and we're just going to think differently in terms of how we learn. I don't know why my guitar's low E string sounds lower than the others. Could you give me a solution to that? It sounds lower than the others. It should sound low, right? It's the lowest strings. If it sounds super duper ultra low, I don't know. Maybe you're a whole octave down. Could that be it? It's a hard one. Typically, what we do on the GMC forum when there's a problem like this, we ask for a video because then it's easy for us to analyze what you're doing wrong. So if you want to, at the end of the session, you can send me a video, or I don't know, if you are on the GMC forum, just post there and I'll help you out. Or did I understand you correctly? Sandy, what's up? Oh, we have Lavietto. That's an old-timer. Hur är läget? Lavietto, Shred Chris hasn't seen the light of the day for a while. I used to do these sessions where I would, shred all day long. Patrick is here. Awesome, man. But it's been a while since I did some shredding. I'm really trying to, occasionally, but trying to force myself to shred. But it goes back to what I just told you guys. The same applies to me, if I try to play something and it's not fun, then nothing good comes out of it. If I tried to shred for you guys and I hated the sound of it, you would hate the sound of it too, I promise. So that's why, Chris Shred hasn't really been active recently. Or Shred Chris. How about you, Lavietto? Are you still shredding a lot? I've seen some of your cool stuff on Facebook. Thanks, Patrick. I'm doing well. I hope you're doing good too. My private situation is totally okay right now. I must say we had a tough year last year at home. We're very fortunate here. We live in a house and we don't have to go into the city a lot. So you could say that the COVID situation hasn't affected us a lot. But I'd be lying because it has. And I think it goes down to, not being able to meet the whole family and stuff like that. That has affected us badly. Sorry, I get these messages here that are interrupting. I'm just going to turn down the volume. Okay. So it's, this winter kind of was crap for us, as I'm sure it was for everybody. We're happy with this in spring, and I can tell you there's more positive vibes in the family now, which is great. Citramas Blues. So if you guys want to do something like that, it's just based around this kind of, if you want to try it out. So I'm playing on the 7th fret here with my ring finger. I'm kind of flattening the first two notes. So 7th fret, D string. So 2 notes there on the 7th fret. And then comes that kind of legato thing which sets the groove. So this is kind of key to get down if you want to get this sound down. So it's like 7, 7, 8, and then pull off, pull off, pull off. So, and then we go back to where we started on the 7th fret D string. And that's kind of your, if you want to jam around like a blues lick, and this is just an example, obviously, but then this would be like your basic building block. And I try to weave in some percussive elements there, so. Oh yeah, the reverb is kind of special here. Let's try this instead. Still kind of aggressive there. Let me see if I can. Let's do this. Kind of dry now. So this kind of thing, you would have like for this jam. I love doing this kind of jam, you know. It's such a cool for starting point, and you get ideas as you play. It's kind of like you're practicing, though you're really playing and jamming, and that's really my favorite style of practicing. So the key to this kind of jam would be to keep like a percussive beat going, and obviously your right hand would be responsible for that. It doesn't, you know, you can practice this, and it doesn't have to contain any notes. You could just tap your foot and dampen the strings with the left hand, and then just try to get like a drum set going with your right hand, right? You would hear those percussive hits have slightly different tonalities, and that would kind of mimic the, you know, the bass drum or the kick drum, and like the snare, and you have, which would be the low kick drum, and then you have some higher strings there, which maybe would be the snare. Like this is just doesn't sound like a snare, but it's still to get you in the right mood there. So if you got that lick down, or if you understood it, then you can practice it just in the beginning. This is going to be a difficult lick, right? If you haven't done this before, so you would have to focus on just the technique before you can even start jamming with it. So you could sort of apply these concepts, but maybe to an easier lick that you already know. That's a cool tool if you want to get jamming directly. Maybe if you're not very familiar with playing guitar, this might cause you weeks and months of headaches, right? So you could choose something simpler, but the concepts still apply. You know, if you want to jam with like a percussive groove and maybe some blues lick, you would see if you can get the percussion going. So I'm hitting all the strings with my nails, and then I'm plucking the low E string there, and then maybe just plucking a few of the higher strings up here. So that would be like the beat, right? And then what I did there was just throw in some 7th, like kind of bluesy chords. So you would think like A7, D7, and then maybe E7, standard 1-4-5 kind of bluesy chord. And if you combine your lick with some percussive hits, maybe a chord. And then you can get maybe some a cappella guitar going there. it sound jazzy? You can throw in maybe some more jazzy chords if you want to. I don't really like going all theory-wise. You can maybe check out James if you want more theory. I find in these live streams it works better if I just cover practical concepts, because you can take that as far as you want to. If you don't want to learn advanced theory, there's no real need to do that either. You can just cover so much ground just jamming around like I did here in like a one key. I started off in A minor, just learn one scale. You can do that for the rest of your life and still be happy. A lot of people think they have to learn a lot of theory, which is simply not true, because a lot of great artists, guitarists, and songwriters never did learn any theory. They just stuck like the pentatonic scale and stuff like that, super basic stuff. And they made a career out of it, and they produced a lot of good content and songs that we still love up to this day. Okay, we have some comments. Awesome. Ottawa, that's cool. Yeah, you're right. That would be nice for these sessions as well. My setup is so super simple now, but maybe in the future I could actually picture myself doing having an analog Ottawa. That would be cool. Fujigan. I don't feel like switching guitars. Sorry, mate. Today is an Ibanez day. I'm really sorry. It's guitars are like moods to me. You can't just exchange them brutally. It has to come naturally. So how to play like Matthias Asato? I wish I could tell you, man. He does a lot of. It's all of what we're saying plus so much more. But I think you can come quite a long way if you start throwing in some percussive elements and maybe start working with some chord voicings. And why not do it the way I describe here? I'm not sure that's his school of thinking, but you can definitely come close to it by just thinking in terms of keys, right? And then one trick that I think he does a lot is, instead of just playing like a melody where you would do kind of boring, he would do it with like intervals, like a 6. Move those 6 around. So, and if you add some percussion to that, then it sounds so much more than if you just try to improvise with like a pentatonic scale. That sounds kind of thin, and it doesn't happen. You need a whole band for that to sound cool. But if you add some percussion and then try to play some double stops, it sounds cool. So that's one way of doing it. Play double stops, play intervals like 6, play. Obviously, he has a lot of chops, so occasionally he will try to, throw in, like the, I don't know. Try to mix that up with. I think he does those pentatonics, kind of fast pentatonics, which I'm really not warmed up to do right now, but you'd have to practice that. That can take some time. Maybe some legato as well. I'm not sure he does that tone coil thing, but it's something you can throw in. It's like a big pile of mix of stuff, and it's very musical. So I think the musicality part of it is really you can approach that by really focusing on melody. So you can copy a lot of stuff from a guitarist, but some people say, well, the musical part is impossible. I don't really agree, because I think, Matthias Asato is extremely musical, and it's hard to clone that. But I think a lot of people forget the melody part. They practice all these chords, rhythm, whatever. But just analyzing melodies can take you very far, and that doesn't even have to be complicated. It could just be a matter of analyzing your favorite song. So what's the melody here? I don't know what that would be. I think that's some Paul Gilbert example. You know, you hear a melody and try to play it on the guitar, right? It's been a while since I did this stuff, but I always think in terms of melody. Now these days, I don't really copy other people's stuff, so I wouldn't be able to give an example. But as soon as I hear a song, it's like, does it groove? Do I want to dance? Do I want to move? And is there a melody I could hum and memorize? So those are the two most important things. That's more important to me than harmony. You could, if you have a cool groove and melody, that's a song. And then if you want, you can add some additional harmony and advanced chords on top of that. But you're not even guaranteed to improve the song. You know, it can add a very cool flavor, but you can also ruin it. So the basics are always going to be like the beat and the melody. So think about those two. And I'd say that will take you many steps towards playing musically. Oh man, these requests. What am I going to do with that? Oh man, that was jazz, not Ingrid Malmsteen. Okay, I don't know. Maybe that? Ooh. No, I can't do Ingrid. At least not now. So my Ottawa is the one on Pandora. Cool. Yeah, I actually had a Pandora, like the first one back in the days. And I do remember it had a cool wall setting. It's actually a pretty good unit. I liked it back in the day. But then I think I burned it with like a faulty AC adapter or something. No good memories of that. Signs of Case by Testament. I love their, what's it called? Do Not Resuscitate album. Can't remember what it's called. I like the band. Okay. So please, guys, shoot me a question if you got one. It's just me talking, but I'm sure you have a lot of follow-up questions, or maybe you saw me do something that you think was interesting. Ask me about it, and I'll cover it. Oh, I'm trying to hide me eating some sugar here, but no point in that. You can see me, so I'll just eat it. That is, what's up, my man? So I ran out of ideas there. I didn't really know what to do, so I switched key from A minor to E major. And I started playing some blues licks, but then it sounded a bit thin without any, backing or anything. So I tried to add some chords on top of that. And I ended up playing something which would be like C sharp blues. I don't know. I would have to practice my sweeps. Ooh, have to turn on cooler here. Gets warm with Jason Becker. I don't know. He would do like like that maybe. I'm too crappy for that. Tomislav, what's up, my man? Oh, jazz standards. I've never been able to play a jazz standard. Sorry, I totally suck at that. I know that's like a 2-5-1. That's all I know. So, might be strange to you why I'm sitting here playing all this stuff and I don't know a jazz standard. Well, I really don't come from that school. I just, I started out watching like REH videos of Yngwie Malmsteen and Paul Gilbert. And I tried to play a little bit of blues. I tried to play a little bit of everything. I never had any kind of musical like foundation or understanding. I just grabbed small bits and parts from whichever players I could get a hold of, their instructional material. So that's how I started out. And then eventually, like 15 years later, I thought it was kind of cool to see people play these voicings and whatever, but I never really liked the traditional jazz school. I ended up understanding a lot of that and studying a lot of that, but I never ended up really using it in my playing. I always had a more practical approach to playing, so I would just find a key and start with that, and maybe at the end of it I would try to alter a note here and there and it would sound a little bit jazzy, but I never really studied different 2-5-1s and different jazz standards. Citram, that's right, I am the GMC founder. Christopher Dahl is my name. I'm really bad at introducing myself, so hi guys, I'm Chris. Theater, I listened a lot to their Images and Words and the one Awake. That's probably my favorite album. I never really fell for the later stuff, though I liked his instructional material. John Petrucci's, his Rock Discipline video was one of the staple videos I watched quite a bit. I didn't really think that he had that super mojo about his playing when he just sat down and played, but he worked really well in the context of Dream Theater. I much more prefer the guys like Eric Johnson, Marty Friedman, Yngwie Malmsteen. They would just sit down their guitar and you could really get that mojo tone right there, right from them. My GMC name, I'm Christopher Dahl, you can just search for me on the GMC site and you're going to find me there. So if you like this, sorry, I'm just because you asked, I'm going to plug GMC there. But I've done a lot of these lessons recently if you want to get into more of the percussive style of playing. And I intend doing more of those. So some soul blues, what would that be? I think that's what we did in the beginning here. Stretchy. Okay, so how would you suggest alternate picking and possibly help understand the importance of staying ergonomic in technique? Ooh, being ergonomic, that's key. I think what you mean is like having a good posture and being relaxed. Not only is that the thing that is gonna make you get that edge, you know, when you work a lot of your technique. If you're tensed up, you're never going to get that control, precision, and tone and cleanliness. You're basically screwed if you play tensed up. Not only all of that, but also the risk of you injuring yourself is major. So maybe you're not even going to play any guitar anymore if you can't be ergonomic or stay relaxed when you're playing. So that's so important. And I constantly need to remind myself about that because the more excited I get about whatever I'm playing or doing, the less I think about not being tensed up. So it still happens to me that I tense up and I get like a hint of pain and then I immediately stop because I've had like, for the longest period, I couldn't play for like 6 months and that was really tough on me. That was when I was younger and all my life was just about playing and I couldn't play. So yeah, I don't want to go back to that. So yeah, super important for any reason you can think of. But really what it goes down to is if you don't play in a relaxed way, you're going to be struggling unnecessarily, right? Because when you're practicing, if you try to do that, things are going to be slow. Progress is going to be slow. So when I work on my picking technique, which I haven't done for a while, I will, the first part is just making sure my posture is as relaxed as possible. Now with some technique, like strict alternate picking, you do have to tense up a little bit and it goes down to basically what Troy Grade is saying about pick slanting, downward and upward pick slanting. If you want to play strict alternate picking like Paul Gilbert, you're going to have to switch between downward pick slanting and upward pick slanting. And that does require a bit of tensiness, whereas if you stick to like more Eric Johnson or like Yngwie Malmsteen, where you cheat a little bit, throw in some economy picking or maybe some just legato, then you can have this super relaxed right hand posture, right? I'm playing with a clean tone now, but you can hopefully see on my right hand that I'm not doing. That's fine for some stuff. It's more tensed up, and it's more limited, but there are some stuff you have to tense up. But if you want a technique that allows you to improvise and move things around and be free, then definitely relaxed is the way to go. So I much prefer this kind of... this relaxed kind of posture. And when guys started shredding, or girls, whatever, in the 80s, a lot of them were tensed up. So that's one of the things with Yngwie. He was really relaxed and he had like a way superior technique. Some people somehow managed to get around with the tense technique. So it does work for some people, but most of the time, those are not the ones who can improvise. It's just more of they know a bunch of licks and they sound really good. But if you really want a technique that is open to anything, I'd say, yeah, you have to be relaxed. Have you memorized fretboard? I am midway of doing that. Does it really justify the note choice while soloing? Okay, so this is an interesting question. Should you memorize the fretboard? The answer is no, don't do it. That kind of phrasing or that kind of way of saying it is more like someone trying to sell you something. You don't really memorize the fretboard. You can learn the notes on the fretboard. That's fine. You should do that at some point. It's a good thing. That's not hard. If you know the alphabet, A, B, C, D, E, it's the same thing, except you might want to start, if you start on a low string, you start from E, right? But then it's just the alphabet. E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, and then it starts again. You can learn that, but don't pay for it. It should be easy. You can just Google your way. Then I think what a lot of people are really looking for when they say learn the fretboard, they are looking to learn the different position of any scale. So for example, a lot of people start out with like the pentatonic scale. That's a good choice. What you're really looking for is to break out of that one box, which most people learn, right? There's your one box in the pentatonic scale. You might have seen it before. Or play it the other way around. So how do I go from playing licks in that to doing... So I think that's what people want to know. How do you move in between the boxes, right? So what you got to understand is this. That pentatonic scale, pentatonic means 5 notes. It is just 5 notes that you repeat all over the fretboard. And the way to memorize that, or one way of memorizing that, is to learn shapes. That is why you're being taught this first shape when starting out. That's like the first box, and it happens to be the easiest one to memorize simply because we play all the notes on the same fret here, on the 5th fret, okay? Okay. So that is one way to visualize those 5 notes. But bear in mind, we are playing many more than 5 notes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2. So what that means is already in this first position, we are repeating those 5 notes. So whenever you want to play those 5 notes up here, it's perfectly doable without any magic, but it does help if you memorize the other boxes in the pentatonic scale. My eye agrees with me. So you could just learn the second box of the pentatonic scale, and that would probably answer half of your questions. So the first box is this. If you don't know it, 8, 5, 8, 5, 7, 5, 7, 5, 7, 5, 8, 5. Okay? So 2 8 5s, and the rest is just 7 5. 8, 5, 8, 5, 7, 5, 7, 5, 7, 5, 8, 5. That's your first box. Then comes the second box. Here is the magic. 10, 8, 10, 8, 9, 7, 10, 7, 10, 7, 10, 8. I'm going to show you that again, but just so that you understand what you're doing here. Those are the exact same notes played a little bit higher up on the notes, fret board. Those are the same notes as we played in the first position, but we play them higher up on the fretboard. Those are the same 5 notes. It's just a different way of visualizing them a bit further up the neck. So the guitar is just a big repetition of notes. We only have 11 notes to start with. Let me double check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Sorry, 12. 12 notes, of course. So we only have 12 notes to start off with. And 5 of those notes are the ones we're playing now. So by pure logic, you're going to have to repeat those 5 notes. Or it should be possible, right? Because we only have 12 notes and we have many more frets and strings. So yeah, repetition is key here. So that's what learning the fretboard is. It's understanding how to repeat whichever notes you're playing all over the fretboard. And that's what I'm doing here. different shapes here. I'm just going to show you that second box again in case you guys really want to get into this. So the second box with the same 5 notes in A minor pentatonics. You can start it here on the 10th fret. You're hearing that A note as your bass, right? We're in the key of A minor pentatonic here. 10, 8, 10, 8, 9, 7, 10, 7, 10, 7, 10, 8. 10, 8, 10, 8, 9, 7, 10, 7, 10, 7, 10, 8. Okay, but trust me, if you practice this for a whole bunch of hours, the next question is going to be, okay, I can play, but I can't do. What kind of mojo magic wizardry do you need to go in between the boxes? You have to take it step by step, okay? So if you learn the boxes, then try sliding between the boxes on just one string. So you could decide, yeah, I'm going to try it on the G string. And you'd have to work it out, right? What was it? Okay, those 2 notes are on the G string. And those 2 notes there, okay. Okay, move up there. That's how I'm going to solve it for the G string. And then try to make it musical. And then do that for each string, and eventually going between those 2 boxes is going to be easy, right? And then you just have to add a 3rd box and the 4th box and finally the 5th box, and you're going to have the whole fretboard, and you're going to be able to move around on the whole fretboard, aka memorizing the fretboard for that scale. So that would be my answer. Kind of lengthy. I hope it made sense. Cool, Mr. Lupazzi. Yeah, this is a nice guitar. I like it a lot. RG652AHM. Neo-soul chord theory. I wouldn't be able to tell you. I haven't broken it down. But yeah, for sure, it borrows a lot of jazz theory. It's like a mix between pop and jazz. So add 9th chords. It's probably going to be the way to go, because if you play 9th chord, then that's the whole spectrum all the way up to the 9th note, and that sounds jazzier. Whereas add 9 is just your basic, like if you play A minor chord, you just add 1 note to that, so it doesn't sound as jazzy as if you throw in a lot of other notes in there. So yeah, but I wouldn't be able to tell you because I haven't broken it down really. Yeah, Mr. Lupazzi, you could definitely say 5 pentatonic boxes, because basically 1 box starting on each note of the penta 5 tonic scale. So yeah, 5 notes, and typically we break that up into 5 positions. So you could probably find some maybe in between positions, but yeah, to make it easy. I have the Kemper Profiler. I've played it for many years, but now I don't so much anymore. It's very good unit, but this is hard to explain, but it sounds good, but it sounds like samples to me, and basically that's what it is. Kemper, what it does, it's like it copies a brief sample of any amp, and it does that really well. It sounds like that amp, but somehow I get bored with my playing with the Kemper. I don't know if it's just plain imagination or if it's true. I don't care, because if I get bored, then I get bored and I don't play. So it's a real problem. Whether the concern is real or not, I don't know. So I still have it. I should have played more. It's an expensive unit. I have played it extensively during like 4 or 5 years. I've recorded so many videos with it, so I've used it a lot. But nowadays it's just all analog. I just use 3 pedals, analog pedals, and then straight into the computer. Life-changing album? I'd have to go boring probably. The first one was probably like a Roxette pop album. It's called Look Sharp. Na 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 na, you know, with that hit song and lots of others. I sang along with that when I was like 11 years old, so that just, I realized I liked music. And then later on, it was probably like Metallica Black Album, a bit of Guns N' Roses, and Nirvana Nevermind, so those. And then much later on, I started caring about, you know, shredders and stuff like that. So there are some really nice shred albums like Tony McAlpine's Maximum Security. Eric Johnson, I wouldn't say it's shred, but still Eric Johnson, Via Musicom. I love that. And basically all his albums, nice. And Marty Friedman's Scenes, I like Megadeth a lot. Yeah, the list goes on. You guys should share your favorite albums here so we get some listening suggestions. So if you're watching this, just type your favorite album here, would be cool to know. Are there a few licks, arpeggios, you think is best to start with sweep picking? Yeah, I would say something that is the fingering that's easy for you. The sweep part of sweep picking is not the difficult part. The hard part is synchronizing the sweep, the right hand, with the left hand, okay? And the weakest component there is 99% of the time is the left hand, not the right hand. So basically, if you're gonna practice sweeping, what you really need to practice is the left hand. So, yeah, this might be a good thing to start it off with. Like a C major arpeggio, but starting from the G note, so it's like an inversion there, second inversion. So if we start on the 12th fret, G string, 13th fret, B string, 12th fret, high E string, and then 15th fret, high E string. So you get this. That's a good basic one. And the challenge here is to pick and fret at the same time, and also to not leave the notes ringing, right? You don't want that. That might be okay with the clean tone, but with distortion, this is going to sound like crap. So that's a good way to start it off with. In fact, when I practiced sweep picking, I took it to the extreme and really practiced just the left hand like this. And that really ensured that my left hand was doing the right thing. I could basically do it without even sweeping. So later on, when I did add the sweeping, you know, I'm not really warmed up to this right now, but when I did add the sweeping, it sure was easier, and it's just like I magnified the tone, but it's still kind of, I played the same thing, but I got a very cooler tone, a much cooler tone, because I was basically hitting the string from two directions. Both the left hand was doing this, and then I added the right hand as well to the mix. Cool albums. Follow the Reaper. Yeah, that's a classic one. I like that as well. Appetite for Destruction. Yeah, for sure. Oh, Endgame by Megadeth. I should give it another listen. I love Megadeth, like their hit albums, like Countdown to Extinction, Rust in Peace. And I also love the later album, which Chris Poland did some guest solos on, like more recent. I think it's The System Has Failed. I never really liked Endgame, so I should give it a new listen. Oh, cool. Blue by Miles Davis. That's a classic one. I listened to that one as well. As for Megadeth's newer albums, it's really only The System Has Failed that I really liked. It has some really cool songs. Tornado of Souls, yeah, sure, for sure. That's such a classic one from the Rust in Peace album. Views on guitarist Matteo Mancuso. Who is that? Is that the one playing with the fingers? He's awesome. That's him. I got really nervous when you asked, so I started to clean my guitar hysterically. Sorry about that. Okay. Okay, yeah, he's cool. How do you mute during sweep that other strings do not sound? Okay, so basically the muting for sweep picking, again, I'm cheating now, I'm playing with a clean tone, so muting is not really an issue here, but you gotta realize that muting on the guitar has many components to it, and you got to try to mute with all the tool that's available to you. So that means the lower part of the finger here, the finger's left-hand finger, is going to be important. Like when you're playing something like this, like the beginning of an arpeggio, this finger is actually making sure all these strings are muted. And if you want to do it the Eric Johnson way, you can even fret in a way so that the higher part is touching the low E string. Then you're effectively muting all strings with just one finger here on the left hand. I don't really do it that way that often. I tend to use my palm, which you should do anyway, regardless of what method you're using. You should try to always mute the strings you're not playing with your palm. So if I'm playing on the G string here, I'm muting the notes until that G string with my palm. So with the side of my palm here. But then if you do those two, like you combine left hand muting and right hand muting, and you practice to play with precision, so you're not, fretting and picking strings you're not supposed to be fretting or picking, then that should make up for a clean technique. No, I haven't covered any Guthrie. It's just crazy good of anything you can think of. So play anything really well and also fast, and you're him. Can't do it though. Cool. So before I get too tired now, it seems I really admire those gamers and streamers that can just sit there forever and, like a 3-hour stream. I couldn't do that. I think it's because I'm really focused both on speaking English, which isn't my native language, and of course playing guitar, which isn't really my native language either, though I would love it to be. And then, so that seems to have an effect on my brain. And after 1 hour, things start to happen for the worse. So I think we're exactly past 1 hour now. So I'm just going to have to thank you so much for joining in. Such a cool session. I hope to see you again here at YouTube or on the GMC website. And stay safe. Hopefully we can enjoy the sun a little bit more now if restrictions are lifting. But if they turns to the worst, then we always have our guitars. And so that's what I'd advise you to do. Practice, practice, practice. Have a good time. Cheers.